Okay, just a minute. Let me set up live stream.
Yeah, it's supported already.
Okay, we'll soon start. Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so welcome to today's event, which is titled "What is New in PHP 8?" And as we all know, this event is powered by Bancom Dev Center, and we have two speakers who will be speaking to us about the topic today. Our first speaker is Mr. Adebowale Adeyinka Hassan. He holds a BTech in environmental biology from Ladoke Akintole University of Technology, Obomosho. He's a PHP developer at Bancom Dev Center. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Mr. Adebowale Adeyinka Hassan. Let's make him welcome now. No round of applause or anything. Okay, Mr. Hassan, you have now.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon to everyone. I'm welcoming you to this episode of PHP Meetup, organized by Bancom Dev Center, with the theme, "What is new in PHP 8?" I will start by sharing what the overview of this presentation is about. So in this presentation, we talk about what software versioning is, the concept of semantic versioning, the previous release of PHP, then as the theme says, what is in PHP 8? This presentation will cover what software versioning is, and there's a purpose why I had to choose this to be the first thing we are going to talk about in this presentation. And software versioning is the process of assigning either unique version names or unique version number to unique state of computer software. By this definition, I want us to understand the concept of software versioning as something which is not new in the development world. Even outside software development, is not a new thing when we mean versioning. I would like to evaluate my audience or to take sample to know if everyone in this attending this presentation are actually PHP developers, so that I will know how to carry along my audience as I present to you. So do we have other participants or audience here who are not PHP developers? Please, I would like a response from the audience.
I'm not a PHP developer.
Okay, all right, welcome to this presentation. So this is also for you. So, all right, so irrespective of if you would like to be a PHP developer or you might actually not want to dive into the aspect of PHP development, it might be useful for you at one time or the other. So that's why this is the first concept. And for new entrants to development world as programmers, so this is not a new concept, and it's something we experience almost on a daily basis. And if you're a developer, at one time or the other, you have to do something we call versioning for your software, because this is due to that there is always new development in this in the software in software development. There's always new changes, and I would like to say this, that software developers are humble learners, because they always want to listen to feedback from the user of their software. And that's the reason why we have software versions. So for people that are PHP developer, or we might have audience who are not developers at all. So the reason why two people will use the same software and might be having different functionality from the same software is part of what we discuss in this presentation. That's the concept of versioning. And I will, before the end of this presentation, I would like to make you understand why this is important and why you should do it at one point or the other. Because you will not want people to use your software now, and maybe as time goes on, people lose interest in using your software. So maybe that's why I said software developers are humble learners. So then as they listen to feedback, there's always a need for us to like make a change to the software we have. Maybe you release a software to the market today, and the user's need has changed. So there will be a need for you to like do an upgrade. So if you are not a developer or you are new to the development world, you might at one time or the other have experienced like you have to do an update on your phone or your system that is going to be recommended for you to make to update a software. And in this presentation, as we go on, so I'll try to make you understand why this is necessary. For versioning is usually in an increasing order. So what we mean when the current version of every software that is outside there is usually better than the previous one. So if you are using number to represent the current version, that means the current version will have a higher number than the previous version of software we have out there. And it is not in any way different from what we have for PHP. We have had PHP 7, we have PHP 5, we have PHP 4, we have PHP 3, and now we have PHP 8. So are we just having number increments, or what is happening? So this will lead us to discuss what we know as a semantic versioning system, and that is what PHP has actually adopted in the versioning system. So the semantic versioning system has 3 major parts separated by period, as you can see on my screen. So the first part being the major version. So as you can see that I have 1.3.2 version displayed on the system. So I will explain these 3 parts, and that will make us understand what we have for PHP now when we have PHP 8. Now, the first part being the major part, this is usually necessary when there is a backward incompatible change to a software. Then the other part, which is the minor version, is usually necessary when we have a backward compatible new feature being added to a software. Don't worry, you'll understand more about this concept as we follow me during this presentation. Then the third part being the patch version, which is usually necessary to be released when there's a backward compatible bug fix to a software. And this is usually happening immediately after the release of a new version, maybe a major or minor version of the software. So looking down on to the image I have on my screen, I will I want to use this image to explain how a major version release might happen and how minor version release can happen, then the patch release. If you see this 0.1.0 and changing to 0.2.0, so you will see that the second part has actually increased from 1 to 2. And in this, when there's a release of a new version and you see such change that the second part has changed, you definitely know that this is a minor change that has happened to this software, that's a backward compatible new feature. And generally, nothing will break in the software. You can continue using the software, but there are some things that has changed, but they are usually backward compatible new features being added. Then if you look at the second line now, you have 1.0.0. Then changing to 1.0.1. From this example now, you know that the change that has happened to this software now is a patch version release. So it's just like, you know that, you definitely know that, okay, what has happened from this version to the previous version is that, okay, there's a bug fix in this software. So the developers have actually fixed a bug in this software. Then if you see the last one now, I would like my audience to answer this question. Maybe somebody that has experience with PHP, or even anybody can answer this now. From 2.1.0 to 3.5.1, please, can anyone in the from the audience tell me what type of version change has happened here? Hello, am I communicating?
I think there's a major release.
Okay, sorry, your name, please.
Benjamin. Post.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. So it's a major release because, hello?
Okay, why it's a major release?
Yes.
Oh, because it have moved away from the very first index number to a greater index number.
So you are a developer, so that's why you're saying the first index now. So the first part now has changed from 2 to 3. Thank you very much. I can understand that you are following this presentation. So let's move on. So PHP has previously experienced changes in the past. And the first version of PHP was in 1995. Then we have that's PHP 1, then PHP 3, 2.0, 1997. Then we have PHP 3, 1998, PHP 4, 2000, PHP 5, 2004, then PHP 7 in 2015. Then now, what is new in PHP 8, which is the current major change that has happened to PHP. Like we have seen that the previous version we have was 7.4. Then we have a major change from 7 points version to 8, version 8 now, which is a major release. So let me just take us back to the beginning of this presentation when I said, okay, this might actually be useful for people who are actually not developers too. So anytime you see a change in the first part of a versioning system, like this one we have in PHP now from 7 to 8, you know, this is a major release. So if you are now, it might happen in the future that we have a higher version than 8. It might be 9, it might be 10, and so forth like that. So when you have a change in the first part of the semantic versioning, now you know it's a major release. And this was actually released in November 26, 2020. That's over a year ago now. So what do we expect in PHP 8? So there are some updates, and so some updates are older and are previously introduced in older PHP version. But this time, PHP will enhance the performance of a few older updates. Then apart from the updates in PHP 8, many new features and functions are added. So I would like to say this at this point that when we have a major release like this, you know, we said in a semantic versioning system, when we have a major release that from the first part incrementing, that means there's a backward incompatible change has happened to the software. That means moving from PHP 7 to PHP 8, there will be some, there's going to be breakage in your code when you continue doing things the way you are doing in PHP 7. Not all, but there are some things that are being accepted in PHP 7 and are no more being accepted in PHP 8. So you have to take notes here now. So let's go on to see the changes that have happened in PHP 8. So like I said, this is a major version release moving into PHP 8. And there are some changes that you can't continue doing things as you are doing before. You have to like modify some things. So some people might think, oh, why do I have to change this? But you might not have been forced to do that today. And that's what actually happened in when you have minor releases, maybe from 7.1 to 7.2. You might continue doing things the way you are doing because it's actually a change that is backward compatible. Then you can continue doing things the way you are doing. You don't have to worry about what is happening. So, but by the time you have a major release like the PHP 8, so there are some things that will have to change. So I picked out some of the more interesting changes that you might want to be aware of. Though this presentation might not cover all, but you have to check the documentation of PHP to see more other changes. And if peradventure you choose not to do that, some days your code might start breaking. Before, there's this practice that that's been accepted in PHP 7 and earlier releases, but now it's no more being accepted, like curly braces for offset access removed. So you can no more access a particular index of an array using curly brace now, like you have here. This is being accepted in PHP 7, but moving on to PHP 8 now, this is no more accepted, so you have to beware. So this is the kind of change that you have to make to your software. If you have used this before, so you should be aware now that if you are using PHP 8, the curly bracket is no more being accepted for offset to access for offset access again. So you have to change from this practice. Now, it might not be a bad practice in PHP 7, but now, if you try to use it in PHP 8, it's actually going to break your code, and you should be aware. Then there's this other change, single string and number comparison. In the previous versions of PHP, before we move into PHP 8, when you have when you want to compare numbers and string, for example, when you have 42, you are comparing it to this string 42 full now. In the earlier version of PHP will ignore the string and we only recognize your 42 as an integer. And we say 42 equals this. This works in the previous version. But now in PHP 8, you can't do that anymore because it's actually going to break your code. And the same thing for this, 0 was equal, has been equals to a string before, but now in PHP 8, that is no more the case. Then there's a stricter type check for arithmetic bitwise operator. Before you can increment your object or array, then you can't do that again in PHP 8. It's going to break your code. Sena numeric passing for string. Basically, this might break your code and it might not, but you have to be wary of how you use string with your in place of integer or integer in place of string now. Because when you want to say, you want to compare integer 42 to string 42, that might break your code. So you have to be careful of this use case while you are writing your PHP code. Then apart from breaking change, we have performance improvement in PHP 8. As we know that PHP is a interpreted language, so it has to be compiled before the system understand, it's being understood by a computer. So, but now in PHP 8, your code just gets compiled once, and for subsequent time, in subsequent operations, as you can see in these charts, once you've loaded this code once, that's gone through the compilation stage, it is no more, it won't get compiled again. Then it just get executed as you want it once you have loaded it once. So this can help in performance improvement. So for API, for people developing API that might that have been experiencing a fast delivery from your endpoints, you might not easily notice this, but for every processes like PHP code that processes image, so this for this kind of people writing code that processes image, you will easily notice this, that your code is faster. So for this aspect of the improvement in PHP 8, so you don't have to do anything. So, and that is the reason why you have to upgrade your software from using the older version to the latest version, because even without you doing anything, making any changes to your code, it improves the performance of the code you already have. Even, this one is not breaking your code. You don't have to do anything. Just upgrade to PHP 8, and there's an increment in the performance of your code. So, and some new features have been added. So you can now use union types, PHP token class. There are other features, new fdive function. Then you can use mix type and so forth. So you can check the PHP documentation for this, so that you have a load of new features to use, and you become a better developer. So removal of version 7 depreciated functionality. So like I said, the minor changes that is happening when you have Windows 7 release, PHP 7 release, I'm sorry, like when you have 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4. So those are things you can ignore in why there are minor release to Windows 7, PHP 7 are things you can't ignore again, because they have been actually removed. So there's no more support for those functionality. So this is another reason why you have to switch to, you have to like upgrade the use of PHP to PHP 8 now. So before I bring this presentation to an end, I will have to say there's this thing now that is very useful for every developer. And I'll say what every developer should know is continuous learning. And that's what keeps us relevant in the market. And I think that's what PHP is also doing, that there are a lot of programming languages outside there, but how do we stay relevant in the market? And as a developer now, you also have to stay relevant. You can't stick to PHP 5 and continue using it, and you think you are comfortable with that version. You don't want to improve. You want to learn new things. If you continue in that state, you might just wake up one day and see that the code you wrote are no more working. Not because you did not do them right then, but as time goes on, you have to improve on the release or on the software you've wrote. And like I said, when this presentation started, that software versioning is what we experience on a daily basis, or what we have to do at one time or the other. So if you release a software today as a developer, so you don't expect it to be perfect. So you listen to people's feedback, then you learn along the way, then you improve and you learn again and you continue again. And that's why we have had several releases of PHP and like other programming languages too. So please, you have to take the responsibility to stay relevant in the market, because you have to improve and continuously improve. So if you stick to one version you are using, there are a lot of other people outside there that might have learned the latest version now, and they become more relevant in the market than you. So you have to keep doing this to improve your existing work and to stay relevant in the market. So in conclusion, for the time being, I will recommend reading through the breaking changes and keep an eye on PHP 8 release calendar for any announcement. So like I said, this is PHP 8 is a major release, and as we are speaking today, we now have PHP 8.1.1, and that you know that 8.1.1, that means we have had a minor release after the major release. So that shows you that even if you have not started using this major release, the development world doesn't wait for you, and you have to continuously improve on the way you are doing things or the way you are seeing things, and you in turn learn and improve, learn, improve, learn and improve. So thank you very much for the attention, and I hope at one time or the other, as you continue or in the next step or in your career, you might actually see the use of what we have actually discussed today. Thank you very much for the utmost attention. So I'm open to questions now. So please, does anyone have a question? Because I would like to I would like to evaluate my audience too.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Adebowale, for that presentation, and also especially for sticking to time. We'll take questions now, because like you mentioned, you're running on batch and we don't want to lose you before we give you the opportunity to evaluate your audience. So if anyone has any questions for Mr. Adebowale, now is the time to ask. Myself, I have a few questions, but before I ask, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Adebowale? No, Matthew, I can't hear you clearly.
Yes, I hear you say something like implementing an array that is no more available. I didn't really get that.
Yes, you can have, before you can have your array, then use plus then, but now it's no more accepted in PHP 8. So you can read documentation for, because this is not a tutorial, and like I said, you have to continue improving. So the best way to get what is the, like I said, is you look up to the PHP documentation and you learn that way, then you can improve. So it's something you might have not used before. You understand? So, but it's something you have to take note of too, because at one you might be called to work on a particular software, and we have a software break, so something break in our code, and we need to fix it. So you know, this type of change is something that can break people's code. Do you understand?
Okay, thank you. I understand.
You're welcome.
Okay, does anyone have any other question? Any questions from any other person?
Yes, I do. I have a question.
All right.
All right.
Actually, I'm a newbie, though I'm more focused on networking. And I want to ask this: how much is PHP fully
No, I can't get your question, please. Your network is breaking.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me? Okay. What I'm asking is this: how much is PHP pulling traction in terms of utility? Because now we can see that they've improved 8.1, having two minor versions to it. So I don't know. I've not heard of so many companies or so many still, depending on PHP for their development as much as them. So how do you want to encourage us to learn this new version of PHP?
Okay.
Do you think relevant?
Okay. PHP. Like you asked, you said you did not know much so many companies using this. Do you know WordPress? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So if you know WordPress, so you WordPress is actually a software built with PHP, and there are a lot of companies out there that use PHP for development. So if you check online, you see that I think about 78% of the web sites you have outside here make use of PHP. So there are frameworks for PHP already. We have Laravel, we have Yi, then there's a few others too, but PHP is not, some people might say it's not a real programming language, but maybe because you are not being used to what PHP is now. PHP has advanced to what it used to be before. So we have a lot of functionality, and that's why we have this new release too. So PHP is has a lot of use outside there. So if you the first example that will come to your mind is WordPress, and it's actually a software that even what non-programmers use, you understand? So anybody can use PHP. Then even in our organization here, we use PHP, but we use frameworks for PHP. So there are a lot of things we can do with PHP. So that's just a simple answer to your question.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other question for Mr. Hassan before I ask mine? Any question from any other person? Okay. Not to waste any more time, I have two questions. The first one is, with the advent of PHP, does it make the other versions like completely obsolete? Like, does it mean for the sake of best practices, you can't use those once again? Like, you should only make use of PHP 8, or like you said, like you have PHP 8.1 now. Is that what it means?
No, that's not actually what it means. So it is still okay for you to learn PHP 7. It is still okay. It is still okay. Then, like I said, this is a major release, and what as existing developers, like I'm already a PHP developer, what to take notes, or anybody in the development world as a software developer, what to take notes when you have a new release, like a major release like this, is you first take note of the breaking changes, because there are some things you have been doing before that might not be acceptable now, and there are some new ways of doing things. So you don't have to unlearn what you've learned before. You just have to make changes to what you've learned before so that you will be current. You understand? So it doesn't make previous version relevant, because there are a lot of things that we do before and we can continue doing them like we are doing them. But just the breaking changes and a lot of new functionality. Like I said again, there's this just-in-time JIT, which improves the performance of your code. So you don't have to do anything for you to benefit from that, just for you to migrate to PHP 8. But what to take notice are the breaking changes, that what you have been doing before that is no more acceptable. And there are some new things that are acceptable, like the trailing comma in array. So before, when you write arrays, if you have a trailing comma as after the last index, it's going to break your code. But for now, that your code will execute, it's going to run normally. So have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My other question is this. My other question is, I have an idea that PHP has frameworks that you use to work with, like the Yi framework and the Laravel framework. Although I'm not familiar with these, I'm not a developer, but I just want to know, since there are upgrades in the PHP now, how does it affect those frameworks?
Okay, thank you very much. So there is something they call dependency L, but I would like to come from this perspective. So if for PHP developers and people that are not PHP developers, sometimes you might want to host your code, your software online, and the host will tell you that this is the version of PHP that is being accepted, or this version of software is the least version that will work on this platform. So as PHP improves, so all other frameworks that depends on it you find a way around it, like they will also improve. So, but for now, they might not have made a lot of changes, but because of these benefits, Laravel was built by some developers. Then same thing for E. So you also can come up with your own framework and say, okay, I want to use base my framework on PHP. So the asset, so what the framework company, those developers that built those framework we have to do is the same thing you as a developer will have to do. They want to make use of the latest changes now. And if there's any breaking changes that happen, they also want to upgrade their framework. That's just it.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I understand you now. So does anyone have any other question before we move on to the next speaker? Does anyone have any question for Mr. Adebowale? Okay, I'll take the silence as no. So moving on, our next speaker is a backend software developer at Bancom Academy, based in Lagos State. He's a seasoned developer with over 2 years of experience building and maintaining software solutions for small and medium businesses. He is adaptable. He loves to learn new technologies, and he's a self-starter, self-motivated, and loves to mentor other developers too. He's a graduate. He's also a graduate member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. And his name is Mr. Patrick Udo. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us make welcome our second speaker, Mr. Patrick Udo. No one is clapping. Mr. Patrick Udo, you have the floor now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can anyone hear me?
Yes,
hello.
Patrick.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sorry, please, you need to turn on your camera.
Okay. I was about apologizing for that because my camera is bad. So actually it's turned on, but then it's blank. So more like a software problem. Yeah. Apologies for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So okay, let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I can see your screen.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to continue from where the first speaker stopped. And before I continue, I would love to add contributions to the questions that were asked before now. And I think someone asked what is the benefit of the new version of PHP? So I'd like to let you know that the new version of PHP, that is PHP 8, is now very stable and it is production ready. Please, am I audible enough?
Yes, you are. We can hear you. Can every other person? Let's confirm.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. So apart from being PHP 8 version 8 being production ready, also I can tell you that PHP also evolved from just web development to also it can be used for IoT and that is Internet of Things, and also for machine learning models too. So it's not as if PHP is as backward as it was in version 5 or version 7. PHP 8 has really evolved. So okay. So like I was introduced, I'm Patrick Udo, a graduate member of Nigerian Society of Engineers, a backend software developer at Bancom. So okay, I'll just quickly go over this because the first speaker already said much about this. So PHP 8 was officially released on 27 November 2020. So I'm talking about few of these changes about the release. Okay, these are a brief history of PHP. So let me just give an overview of it. So before, when PHP came out, like let's say from PHP version 3 to 5, it was basically for scripting language, just backend, and the syntax were not so good. So it had loose syntax so that you could just throw anything at it and it accepts it. Like it was not solid. It was not solid, so to say. So now, but then from version 5 to 7, 5 to 7, there was an improvement. Version 5 introduced powerful PHP support, allowing users to create structured enterprise-level code written within the best solid principles. So at that point, PHP started becoming more useful and let's say stronger. Then newer version of PHP introduced the concept of frameworks, of which the most popular one is Laravel. Then we have Code Igniter also. Then we also have Symfony framework too. So there was actually no version 6. They moved from major version from 5 down to 7. And in version 7, JIT, that is just-in-time compiler or compilation, was introduced. The core team chose not to introduce JIT compilation, but made massive optimization in the interpreter itself and managed largely keep the language backward compatible. Just like sorry, I can't remember your name, but someone asked about the compatibility, the backward compatibility, like as the first speaker. So I also want to add that the PHP versions can be used, they accept backward compatibility, so that you can change your version. You can use the lower version, you can choose to use 8 or 7. There's no problem with that. The PHP 7 introduced, sorry, am I still on? Can everyone see me? Just to be sure I'm kind of going along.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. PHP 7 introduced a significant performance boost, optimized RAM usage, and improved syntax, just like I said. Now PHP 8 has introduced JIT compilation along with numerous other PHP 8 breaking changes. A logical step for improving on version 7. So basically, I won't be going into the syntax. I'll be talking more on PHP JIT, that is just-in-time compilers. Now, basically, just-in-time compiler was introduced in version 8 compared to what was used before in the previous version, which is the OP cache. Now, PHP just-in-time is implemented as an almost independent part of OP cache. OP cache is a cache engine built into PHP, which enables it to dramatically increase the performance of websites that utilize PHP. So basically, OP cache improves the performance by storing precompiled scripts. Storing precompiled scripts bytecodes in shared memory, thereby removing the need for PHP to lead and pass scripts on each request. So now, when enabled native code of PHP files, it's stored. Sorry, I'm trying my best to simplify the whole JIT because it's a bit theoretical. Yeah. So when enabled, native code of PHP files is stored in an additional region of the OP cache shared memory. So we use OP array opcodes and keeps pointer to the entry point of JIT head code. So how did we get to JIT, and what is the difference between JIT versus OP cache? Like I explained before that OP cache was what was used before, what PHP was running before they introduced PHP, which now runs on JIT, that is just in time. To better understand what JIT is for PHP, let's take a quick look at how PHP executes the source code to the final result. Now, there are 4 basic steps that PHP compilers using JIT works. First of all, the first one is called lexing/tokenizing. First, the interpreter reads the PHP code and builds a set of tokens. The second step is that it's called parsing, where the interpreter checks if the script matches the syntax rule and uses token to build an abstract syntax tree known as AST, which is an hierarchy representation of the structure of the source code. Then after parsing, then the compilation. The interpreter transverses the tree and translates AST nodes into low-level Zen opcodes, which are numeric identifiers determining the type of instructions performed by the Zen virtual machine. Then the last one, which is interpretation. Opcodes are interpreted and run on the Zen virtual machine. This is the representation of the whole process. We have the PHP scripts, then the script being sent or run. Then we have the legacy tokenizing, which converts the script to tokens. Then it goes through passing, which converts it to the AST. Then we have the compilation, which converts the AST to opcodes, then the execution, then we have the outputs. So how does OP cache make PHP faster, and what changes in the execution process with just-in-time compiler? So there are three things. We have the OP cache extensions, we have the preloading, and we have the just-in-time compiler. So these are the changes that makes JIT together with OP cache faster. The first one, we have the OP cache extension. PHP is an interpreted language. This means when a PHP script runs, the interpreter passes, compiles, and executes the code over and over again on each request. This may result in wasting CPU resources and additional time. But then OP cache improves PHP performance by storing precompiled scripts bytecodes in shared memory, thereby removing the need for PHP to load and pass scripts on each request. Then we have the preloading. The OP cache has been recently improved with the implementation of preloading, a new OP cache feature added with PHP 7.4. Preloading provides a way to store a specific set of scripts into OP cache memory before any application code is run. Still, it doesn't bring down the performance improvement for typical web-based applications. These are part of the reason why they had to move from OP cache to just-in-time compiler. With JIT, PHP moves a step forward. So now let's look at just-in-time compiler. Even in opcodes, even if opcodes are low-level intermediate representation, they still have to be compiled into machine codes. JIT doesn't introduce any additional intermediate representation form, but this is ASM, that is dynamic assembler for code generation engines to generate native code directly from PHP bytecode. In short, JIT translates the odd parts of the intermediate code into machine code. By passing compilation, it will be able to bring considerable improvements in performance and memory usage. Okay, the benefits of JIT compiler are roughly, the benefits of JIT compilers. Now we have significant better performance for numerical code. Then we have slightly better performance for typical PHP web application code. Then the potential to move more code from C to PHP because PHP will now be sufficiently fast. I think someone also asked why companies do not use PHP for server language. This is part of the reason because PHP is not as fast as other programming language like C, C++, Java, or maybe Python. That was before the invention of before the release of PHP 7 and PHP 8. So now there is now a potential for companies to move code from C, start using PHP for server side languages. For every upside, there's always a downside. The downside will be greater. Downside to the release of PHP 8, that is just-in-time compiler, is that the downside will be the greater complexity that can increase maintenance, stability, and debugging costs. according to Dimitri Stogov. So Dimitri Stogov is a PHP developer, a core PHP developer, is a principal engineer at design. Let's just say he's among those that came up or the key contributors to PHP and also particular framework too. So JIT is extremely simple, but anyway, it increases the level of the whole PHP complexity, risks of new bugs, new kinds of bugs, and the cost of development and maintenance. So these are the downsides to JIT. Okay, that's all I have for JIT because actually it's a bit, I don't want to say complex, but then there's too much theory to it. So I don't know if there's any question for me based on JIT or anything I need to throw more light on. That's just better.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Patrick. Does anyone have any questions for him based on his presentation?
So sorry, I tried to simplify this as much as I could, but then there are so many abstract terminologies there.
Okay, I have a few questions, but before I ask, I would like to know if any other person has questions.
Okay, so.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Patrick? I'll go ahead and ask him. Okay, I'll take that as a no. Mr. Patrick, I have, first of all, I have two questions. The first one is, for someone who is thinking about going into tech and is not sure of the particular language to learn, how would you convince that person to pick PHP as a learning path? Like, what are the pros that you pitch to that person that would convince him or her to pick PHP as the first language to learn before going into other languages per se?
Okay, let me answer the first one first. First thing I will tell anyone that wants to learn a programming language, if it's a web programming language you want to learn, it's a web, because I need to know if it's a web, mobile, or maybe you want to go into IoT or machine learning. So if it's web, I would say you should go for PHP. Right now, I'm trying to teach PHP for the person. So I would say go for PHP because first and foremost, PHP is very easy to learn. It's syntax friendly. And how do I put this now? You can just basically build a website or get things going with just HTML, CSS, and PHP. And I've been, because HTML and CSS are not so difficult, they're just HTML is a markup language. So if you have an HTML background, you can just easily throw in PHP, easily learning PHP and throwing HTML in PHP because HTML and PHP are very compatible. So first of all, I would tell the person to learn PHP because PHP is easy to learn. And on the long run, in case maybe the person is bothered about what we call enterprise, I think the large scale developments, I can also teach Laravel to such a person because Laravel right now are really grown and can be used for large scale production for enterprises. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The other question I have is, well, let's say a follow up to the first one I asked. Considering when PHP was invented, I don't know when, but looking at the number of years PHP has been in existence, like how would you say how much progress has it made? Like how far has it come?
Okay, I don't have slides to prove that, but then I mean I don't know if it's still here. It's still on this call. Okay, no, but then I just started I didn't get the first speaker, sorry.
Okay, I don't think
so basically, let me just continue. Basically, he was trying to show some some new syntax, or not new syntax now, some correction has been made in the way PHP syntax or PHP codes are being written. Now, these are the progresses, because at first you could just, let me see, okay, for instance, in C, C++, and Java, you cannot just declare a variable without telling it the type. But in PHP, you can do that. You can just say maybe dollar name, and you can throw anything at it, maybe a string, maybe a number, maybe a boolean. Doesn't care, it takes it. But now, I think from version 7, there has been something called strict typing, such that you can tell PHP what is this string, what is this variable doing, so that you can declare a type to the variable. For instance, you want to declare a variable that has that is for storing string. You can declare string in front of it, and if you maybe in the future try to pass an integer to it, it's going to throw back an error. So these are parts of the new improvement that has been added to PHP. And also PHP at first was not object-oriented based, but release of version 5 or 7, I'm not very sure now, OOP was integrated into PHP. Now we have inheritance, we have polymorphism, we have interfaces in PHP. So these are features that have been added to PHP over the years to make PHP better.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Thank you for that response. One more question. This is more like a personal question, like on your career. Like, is PHP the only language you're proficient with, or do you work with other languages as well?
Yeah, I actually come from a Java background. I learned Java first before I came to PHP. So I do mobile development, but there is not as much as web, because web is where I work mostly. But then I learned mobile too using Java, that is Android development. Then I can also write C#. I can code on C#, the language. Yeah. Then also, of course, JavaScript. There's no way you'd say the web developer not to know JavaScript.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed. Does any other person have questions for Mr. Patrick? Any questions for Mr. Patrick before I go ahead and make my own presentation? Okay, I'll take that as no other questions. Mr. Patrick, you can stop sharing your screen now so that I can share mine.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. So please don't go anywhere yet. I have a presentation to make. So just a moment. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Hello, can everyone see my screen?
No, it's still sharing.
Okay.
Just showing black here.
Okay, I guess it's still coming up. How about now?
Yes, we can see.
How about now?
Yes, it's showing.
All right. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today for this meetup. This is PHP Meetup. The topic was what's new in PHP 8. Apologies. System is very slow. Apologies for the delay. I'm having slight issue with my system here. I hope you all can still see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. Okay, like I said, this event is powered by Bancom Dev Center. This is one of our meetups. We have a lot of meetups. Today is the PHP meetup, and the topic was what's new in PHP 8. So Bancom Dev Center is a multi-location technology talent development and solutions platform. We have locations in several areas of the country. First of all, we have virtually near you. We have a location at Yaba, Lagos State. We have at Oyo State, Kano, Kaduna, Ogun State, Delta State, and we have plans to expand to more locations. You can visit blog.bancom.net/campuses to find a list of complete locations. What do? We offer a number of services, and some of them include the Bancom Academy. We have the Bancom Tech Internship. We have the Bancom Tech Apprenticeship, the Bancom Community Events and Projects. We have Light Space. We have the Bancom Global Tech Program. We have the Emigrate Program, and we have the Bancom Mentoring Platform and the Labs by Bancom as well. So let's get down to some of these services one after the other. First one is the Bancom Academy. So the Bancom Academy is the program, is an intensive training program facilitated by Bancom Dev Center. It takes a Montessori approach, right? Each technology or application development class is typically 4 weeks of intensive training. So during which period participants will go through a training curriculum for that knowledge track they chose. And it's going to be, or it's usually in a Montessori approach. We have a number of classes available. We have Python, mobile app, PHP, Foundation, and a host of others. And if you wish to apply, you can visit bancom.net/academy. And to find out full list of classes available, you'll also find out at bancom.net/academy. We have the Light Space, which provides helpful workspace intended to encourage collaboration and drive innovations in the startup ecosystem. We have spaces that are created and designed for various events like seminars, conferences, and get-together. We'll have this across our locations. First of all, virtually near you. We have at Yaba, Lagos State. We have at Oyo State. We have at Kano, Kaduna, Ogun, and Delta states. So to find complete list of locations, you can visit blog.bancom.net/campuses. So next we have the Bancom community events and projects. Can everyone still hear me? Am I still communicating?
Yes, you are.
We can hear you, sir.
All right. So we have the Bancom community events and projects, which are geared at giving back to the community and building the tech ecosystem. They focus on training and exposing the youth to the current technology trends and how to prepare for the future in technology. This is one of our community events. Like we have different categories. So in the categories of meetups, this is one of our meetups, the PHP Meetup. Like I said, the Bancom event is divided into several categories, 5 categories actually. We have the masterclass, we have the meetups, we have the idea sharing, which under we have the Bancom ICT Career Talk, which we hold every last Saturday of every month. And then we have Explore on the Move, then Challenge and Brainstorm. So some of our other initiatives include the Bancom Tech Network. The Bancom Academy uses Bancom Tech Network Slack for collaboration purposes. Interaction with facilitator and other participants of Bancom Academy class usually take place in a dedicated channel in the Bancom Tech Network. And then we have the Bancom Tech Club, which creates an ecosystem that enables tech enthusiasts who have little or no knowledge on tech to learn and rub minds with tech experts, leveraging on the tech community to front-end the possibilities for individual or front-end the possibilities for individual or club members to become tech experts themselves. So like I said, under our community events, we have different categories. The meetup, we have the PHP Meetup. This is the PHP Meetup. We have other meetups as well, cloud hosting meetup, Angular, digital marketing, data science, Laravel/U meetup, and the DevOps meetup. Under the masterclass, we have the Bancom Startup School, Social and Digital Financial Services Masterclass, and the EdTech series. And under idea sharing, we have the Bancom ICT Career Talk and the Immigrate Open Day. So our next service here is the Bancom Global Tech Program, which is your solution to launch a tech career globally. And it is focused on 3 key pillars. The first is to learn skills, the second is to gain experience, and the third is to gain exposure. All right, so if you're thinking about going into tech or you're already into tech and you want to hone your skills, this is the program for you. And also we have a program which enables you to learn tech now and pay later. So I have a video to play. This video gives more insight to the Bancom Global Tech Program.
What are the things you need? Is your laptop device, a hunger and a passion for IT. Those are the core tools that you need. The total cost of the Bancom Global Tech Program for the period of 1 to 2 years is just 1.2 million naira. But you don't need to worry about that because it gets better. We have various financing options to help you cover the cost of the program. So you don't need to have any money to even apply or be admitted to the program. One of the financing options that are available for this program is the income sharing agreement. What that simply means is that the company will sponsor your learning. So you would learn for the period of 1 to 2 years and you only start paying back when you get a job and you start earning your income after this program. This means that aside from skills, experience, and exposure, the company is also willing to invest its own money on you. That's a total package. What are you waiting for? You need to go on our website, bancom.net/globaltech. You need to register and then launch your global tech career. I'm sure that the tech world, the tech industry is waiting for a great talent like you. Thank you.
Apologies. I just realized that I was muted for the whole. Wow, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh wow. Apologies for that. I guess you stopped hearing me after the video, right?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'll have to go back then. Apologies for that. Thanks for calling my attention to it. I would have gone on without realizing it was muted. Can you guys see him?
Yes.
Okay, so like I was saying after the video, the next service is the Emigrate program, which provides tech-enabled visa opportunities for people in tech, either the technical side or business side of tech. It gives opportunities to live and work in countries like the UK, USA, Canada, and France. So these are some of the services that Emigrate offers. We have the free and the premium packages. So, and if you're interested in any of these, all you need to do is indicate interest first at bancom.net/emigrate. Remember, the emigrate is spelled with the number 8. And then the second step you need to take is request for immigrant service at bancom.net/emigrate pricing. We also have immigrant open days, and you're invited to the next open day, which typically holds 2 Wednesdays in a month. So all you need to do is visit bancom.net/emigrate open day to book your spot. So the next we have here is Labs by Bancom, which helps people that have just acquired skills in tech to start working on or start working with those skills they've acquired. So you get to work with a team and then you get a startup. And if you want to be part of this, if you want to join the next cohort of Labs by Bancom, all you need to do is visit bancom.net/labs. So we have the Bancom Dev Center campaign, which is in partnership with MyCycle, bringing the ability for people to earn from the network and positive social influence. So you earn 10% from Bancom Dev Center for any of its services which you refer. For example, if you refer the Global Tech Program to someone and the person eventually pays, you get to earn 120,000 naira, which is 10% of the price of that program. So you can contact us, send us a mail at bancomdevcenter@bancom.net. You can call the number that is displayed on your screen, or you can visit our website, www.bancomdevcenter.com. All right, thank you very much for your attention and for participating in today's meetup. If you have any questions for me, you can ask me. Hello, someone speaking. I can't hear you, Mr. Michael. I think it's your network or something. It's really breaking up. Or can you guys hear me very well? Maybe if you have a question, you can type it in the chat box. I still can't hear you clearly. I think it'd be best if you type your question in the chat box. If you have a question, whatever it is, you can type it in the chat box. Okay, I'll take the silence as no one has any other questions to ask. So okay, there's a question from Michael. The Learn Now and Pay Later program. I don't understand. I don't think your question is complete, Mr. Michael. Okay, Michael, if you can hear me, if you'd like to find out more, does it require that we have worked for a period of time in the company? If you want to find out more about the LearnTech Now program, I would suggest you visit bancom.net/globaltech. There you get all the information required. If you want to indicate interest, there's where you get all the information that you need. And I hope that has answered your question. So with that, I would like to thank everyone for being here. I thank especially the speakers for presenting to us. I believe those of us in PHP and those of us who do not know about PHP, we've learned one or two things today, and we have something to take home with us. Thank you very much once again for being here, for being part of this program. And with that, I would like to bring this session to an end. Do enjoy your day and have a lovely weekend ahead. Thank you.
It's